Alrighty then. Game number, I don't even know how many. We're deep into the stream at this point. We've seen a lot of games here. The last couple have been Megarandom. There will be some spoilers, so those of you guys who are going to watch the other VODs, you might want to tune out before you see the result of this one. This does look like another Megarandom game. The Viper and MBL both playing as Persians, and here's your spoiler. Viper has won every single game of this matchup so far. Absolutely beating up on Mr. MBL. In this case, though, that villager is loomed. I thought the Viper was going to give away a vill early. Okay, so Megarandom usually has an interesting distribution of resources. Usually, there's something that is kind of missing from the map. It's very, very scarce. In this case, let's see, there's going to be a tiny, tiny bit of gold for the Viper above his TC. Tons of stone, absolute tons of stone. There is a pond in the middle. There's actually two ponds. Both players kind of have their own pond, if you think about it. MBL is closer to this one on the left. Viper is closer to the one on the right. Viper's pond is a little bit bigger and maybe has more fish, but I don't know if that's really a game-winning or game-losing difference. But yeah, it seems like the rate-limiting component here is going to be gold. There's just not much gold at all for either player. There's basically 2 panels of gold on every corner of the map, and that's it. I mean, MBL does have 2 gold piles near his base. I think the Viper just has 1. So that could be a huge advantage for MBL, but we'll see if it lasts that long. The last couple have been over in the Dark Age. So let's see if we get a game here that actually goes deep enough for it to matter where the gold piles are. Okay, MBL and the Viper both docking. They're going to get their fish boom going. The Viper here is a little bit quicker out to the dock. MBL doing a little scouting with the sheep. Looks like neither player will start the game with anything to scout with. Megarandom, you can get a hunting wolf, as we've seen in the previous games. You can get a scout. You can get, sometimes you get a monk. In this case, though, players will start with just a TC. No buildings to start the game and no unit to scout with. People losing all their money to gambling. Lou Roll is all in. Did you win, Lou? Lou bet 227. Oh, he's betting on the game. Lou putting all his money down on the Viper. Viper's been a safe bet thus far. We'll see how he does in this one. Persians war on this weird Megarandom map with no gold. Maybe it's worth taking a second and thinking about unit options while these guys build up very slowly. So Persians are a nice civ. I'm always happy when I get Persians. Nice work rate bonuses. A little bit of extra food to start. They have a really nice ability to go deep into cavalry. Unfortunately, I think this is probably pointless unless you're just going to go for trash because you don't have any gold to work with on this map. You could go into trash as well. You could go deep into stone and try to basically use a market to sell that stone for gold and get some knights out. In the end, the water battle shouldn't be too heated unless a player doesn't scout. At the moment, MBL hasn't scouted at all with his fishing ships, which I can't blame him. He's trying to boom up. Viper hasn't really scouted either, but I think both of them are probably of the impression that there are 2 ponds. And if they figure out that they're not on the same pond, they won't be building any galleys, so the gold will not be wasted. Good scouting here will save you a lot of gold, I guess is what I'm trying to say. MBL will be up first. Viper will grab a few more villagers before going up. 360 food in the bank for the yellow player Viper. Very defensible position for both guys. You're kind of surrounded by wood lines here. Oh, a little bit of bugged stone. You also have a ton of stone to work with if you want to do something cheeky. Mr. MBL in purple has actually not found his big stone pile in the back, though. MBL at the moment is maybe under the... he's got one big one on the front. I was going to say he might be under the impression that he doesn't have a lot of stone, but it does look like MBL scouting the stone, blocking some of the middle of the map. Barracks coming down, and inevitably a stable coming soon for MBL. I think MBL should be able to get a stable out and start raiding, and he's going to have a really nice advantage because of it. A little bit slower getting his fishing economy going, but MBL definitely is ahead here. This earlier feudal time is going to be really big for him. 2 vills coming out forward. They will drop a stable. Not exactly power building that, but he will get it done pretty quick. And he will have a couple scouts up in the Viper's grill before the upgrade comes in. Viper will block this little pass, but MBL can go the long way around to get his scouts closer. Viper taking deer at the moment, and I don't think MBL knows about that part of the map just yet. So we'll see the Viper going up with more Vills. MBL going up earlier. Still doing some sheep scouting is the purple player. He's going to start to crank out some scouts, I hope. I don't know. The stable is up, but and yep, those scouts are going to head basically straight toward the Viper's mill. Viper has actually docked the other pond now. This is interesting. The Viper was docked on his own pond, and then he built a second dock on MBL's. He's still scouting around with a villager now. Viper may be coming forward to not only reveal the map, but probably do some laming, I would think. Viper probably knows that he's on MBL's pond. MBL does not know that the Viper is on his pond. I think if you look at Viper's scouting, he can probably surmise that there's 2 ponds on this map. If you look at MBL scouting, he can surmise that there's 2 ponds as well. But maybe, since he knows where the Viper is on the top of the map, he's assuming that there are no docks on his pond. I don't know, but the scouts will actually end up finding it, so it won't be a big deal. And we're not seeing galleys from the Viper. I thought Viper might add in a couple galleys and go over and try to like lame this fishing, but that's not going to be the case. Yellow player Viper is coming forward with his stable, and that is a very quick castle age for the yellow player, who at the moment is still waiting for those scouts to come in. The scouts are going to do some damage, though. A couple Vills kind of hanging out in no man's land. MBL, did he run past those villagers? Yes, he did. MBL running past those Vills because there's a spearman in play, and we will see the purple player MBL get into this back wood line for now. Viper's pretty heavily on gold, and that is not going to last for long. He will have to abandon ship for a moment while his spear slowly works his way in. MBL's other scout is splitting toward the berries, and this is a nice bit of harassment. The Babadook, though, is going to be way behind on his castle upgrade time. Spending quite a bit of food to get that going and not really taking gold aggressively. Thinking about maybe the long term a little bit more than getting up to castle age in the short term. I like MBL's pressure, but the Viper here has done a pretty nice job with his spears to not lose any Vills. Kind of parried the blows for the most part. MBL will be out, though, with a galley early, and he's going to come in and take on the fishing. Very nice decision, in my opinion. Looks like MBL will actually take the fishing down, potentially on both sides for now. What's important to remember is that when you get up to the next age, you're going to unlock different ships, such as the fire ship. Viper will hit the castle age and almost definitely will queue up a fire ship and basically clean the entire pond. Even if there were a couple more galleys, you'd still probably win that fight pretty easy. Viper will drop another TC for now, right next to his initial TC, probably because he's being raided by MBL. But once again, the Viper's position is starting to look pretty good. MBL certainly keeping him honest. Will kill a couple fishing ships here. Eventually grabbing a few down. Fire ships, though, from the Viper will probably win the water and take all of MBL's fishing economy down soon. Castle Age is still coming in for the purple player. He may actually be buying himself some time by running his galleys in circles, keeping the Viper a little bit busy, and maybe he can get his own fire ships out eventually. Viper is also building knights on the land, going to idle quite a lot of MBL's economy. It looks like 11 idols at the moment, couple villager kills as well. Another stable coming for MBL. Persians, well, he can get back in this game if he can get himself stabilized. Just has to figure out what to prioritize here. MBL, having a limited amount of gold on this map, can either try to retake the water or try to retake the land. I think the land is much more important here. He'll hit the castle age, and presumably he will build a couple of camels to deal with the night raiding from the Viper. But we'll see. It will be one camel for MBL for now, and it will be a fire ship on each dock. So MBL will build both camels and fire ships, but he will also spend really almost all of his gold to do so. This is MBL's gold pile, and he does not really control it right now. Unfortunately, the Babadook does have extra gold. That was his big advantage on the map, but he doesn't know about it just yet. Probably doesn't expect it. Viper here focusing down fishing eco for the moment. MBL at the moment has 2 fishing ships. That's a bummer. But he does have a galley actually hidden in the top of the map with a couple HP. But yeah, man, it's really dire now. MBL going kind of deep into spears. Viper will have a monk out. That monk's going to go down for pretty cheap, actually. He will eventually die to spearman, which is really the worst. It's death by wiffle ball bat. But eventually that monk is going to die, and that's an expensive unit to lose when you have such a small amount of gold. So a nice little kill for MBL, but he is, once again, having to idle a lot of Vills here. Doesn't have the fishing economy that the Viper has. Seems to only have 1 TC for now. Second one on the way. Viper here killing a few vills. Out to a 9 villager advantage. Viper at the moment in a nice position. Ninja Guy, weird map gen. Indeed, definitely a weird... This is a Megarandom, but it is... Even for Megarandom, this is a weird map. Viper and MBL fighting it out on water. MBL will kill, really, the Viper's entire fishing economy. Both players with a couple of fire ships. The land, though, I think is where the big difference is. Viper has 3 TCs down. He's got his gold in a safe position, and he's done a fair bit of night raiding on MBL. Slowed him down a lot. And we'll see an 11 villager advantage from Mr. Viper. So Persians v Persians here. We saw MBL building some camels, but maybe he canceled those because I haven't seen those camels actually on the map. Gold is incredibly limiting, so you need a market rather early. Viper has one. MBL probably does too. Yep. Need a market early because you're going to have to be mining and selling some stone, one would think. MBL hasn't gone to stone yet, which is really surprising to me. Viper's got 4 villagers on the way over there. And I don't know if he's actually sold any. But in theory, you should be able to sell your stone. Viper here is going to sell a little wood. MBL selling some food, and MBL selling some stone. So MBL can't build the second TC just yet, or rather a third TC. Selling a bit of his stone to basically stay alive. And now we'll see the purple player go over to stone. Mining and selling stone is probably going to be a necessary evil in this particular match. I think that the super limiting amount of gold is really incredibly important to keep an eye on. You got to be as cost effective as you can. If you build a demo ship, it has to hit, and that one absolutely did hit there for MBL. MBL and Viper fighting on 2 different ponds and on the land. I think the Viper has focused more on the land than MBL, and I think that's going to help him have a nice advantage in this game. Archery range coming down, Viper kind of taking away this back stone pile from MBL. I think that the land is more important. The Viper at the moment controls 1 pond on this side. The other pond is still hotly contested, but neither player fishing. Villager counts are plus 13 for the yellow player Viper, and the Megarandom Norwegian battle continues. We got to be cheering for MBL here because he's lost quite a few in a row versus the Viper. MBL will chop through this woodline and eventually get a little bit more stone, but stone is everywhere. Stone is cheap in this match. Stone is cheap. Scouting, MBL has done a good job to scout, but notably does not know about a couple of huge piles of resources here. This gold is actually really an important resource. I wonder if the Viper knows about it. He doesn't know about it either. So neither player will find that gold in the corner, and neither player knows about this gold in the corner. A couple of archers out for the Viper. Really interesting match to think about. Like, what would you build right now? What's the most cost-effective unit to, you know, basically weaken your opponent as you work your way through the ages? Viper will go with archers. He'll go with bodkin arrow. I wouldn't be surprised if that's all he'll do. Right, if we think about the upgrades that are available here. Upgrades. Bodkin arrow. Ooh, bodkin arrow is expensive, right? So I think Viper just got fletching. I don't think he'll get bodkin. He just doesn't have the gold. But we'll see. Could be totally wrong about that. Oh, he already got it. There you go. Ballistics on the way for the Viper. Probably, again, using the market a lot. Has 3 mangoes out on the front. This push is so important. So important to make these pushes worth it, because it is absolutely, man, it's like a one and done thing with your gold. Viper at the moment on 24 gold. He's mined through his entire gold in the back, taking stone like a madman. Like I said, he'll probably start selling that, but you just can't afford to lose. I mean, if he lost these 3 mangoes, it would be just devastating. MBL on his side has 125 gold in the bank, but he's lost his gold pile early, and that's really been hurting him a lot. Viper's spending his gold and being aggressive here, and MBL unfortunately just can't collect any gold. MBL, though, is hardcore onto stone, and we will see if the Babadook here starts to sell it, continue to bolster his eco. Water battle continues. The Viper here has a little bit outnumbered. MBL seems to have maybe taken over for now. He does have a fishing ship out as well. I think in the end that's going to be a back and forth battle. As soon as one guy can afford another fire ship, he'll build one. But like I said, most important probably is the land. Viper is going to build a mining camp here, and he's going to start mining gold with one villager. It's still really absolutely worth it when gold is as limiting as it is. 3 mangoes on the front, putting some real pressure on MBL. He does snipe another monk. That's really an expensive monk. 100 gold down there, and whew, that's ugly. But Viper here standing his ground, idling so many farms from MBL, and just tossing in, lobbing in mangonel shots like a madman. Crossbows in a Persian war only works if you catch them by surprise or if you're the Viper. Crossbows here are relatively cheap. I mean, compared to the knights that MBL has built, they're really cheap. Those knights will be roaming in. The Viper's going to see them rather early. He really needs to get 2 converts. Otherwise, MBL is definitely going to... Yeah, Viper gets 2 converts. Viper gets 2 converts. I think he'll still get cleaned up here. But, you know, those 2 conversions are a really big deal. If MBL could have somehow killed those monks with a little nicer RNG without losing the conversions, I think he would have been able to maybe give it another go. But it's still looking like the Viper here is going to squeeze MBL out of this match. 105 vils, sweet Jesus. 67 for MBL. The water is still contested to a point that neither player has a meaningful fishing economy. Viper will lose his dock here on the top side, though. He's really focused on winning the land. We'll see if that matters in the long run. Pikemen on the way in. Heavy plow coming in for the Viper. Chainmail armor on the way. Continuing to crank out some units in a game where there just isn't a whole lot of gold to be had. Viper drops a barracks. He's going to drop a couple of those, and he's going to start adding in some trash to bolster his army. MBL's done a nice job to get what would have been 10 knights, unfortunately losing 1 to conversion. But he's done a nice job to build up a nice, high-quality army. Does have bloodlines in, is getting scale barding armor as we speak. Unfortunately, the Viper's probably going to be ready for him. A few more pikemen coming out. These crossbows with a monk or 2 can probably handle MBL's army. And we may not see this game go too much deeper. MBL for now is going to hold the line. He's going to keep his TC up. Unfortunately, having to repair that TC with 5 or 6 vils, putting him even further behind in the ability to gather compared to the Viper. If we look at the markets right now, ooh, forget about the markets. This one's going down right in front of our eyes. Looks like the monks will get on their conversions. Yeah, 2 conversions coming in. The Viper adding in more and more pikes. Mangoes will almost definitely die. But in the end, MBL is going to lose probably all of his knights here. Crossbowmen doing some good damage. MBL with +1 defense, but more and more pikemen coming in. And the Viper will yet again get the win on Megarandom. This game was a real game. At least we got to 34 minutes. But in the end, the Viper will squeeze his opponent out. What was the big turning point there? Just the fact that the Viper was able to take away MBL's gold. MBL really didn't have a whole lot of a chance without his 1 tiny bit of gold there on the map. Viper with a defensive castle in the end. Both players with these huge stone piles. But in the end, we will see the Viper grab another win. Thanks for tuning in. This is Killer B. Much love.